Alright, this is pt01 and it is finally time for the review of the real grade RX-78-2 Gundam. And after the long Let's Build series, we have finally completed the kit. Fully painted, panel lined, decaled, and everything. Although, it didn't take as long as Let's Build Master Grade Camphor. But then again, I didn't actually assemble the entire model kit on camera this time. So anyway, for those of you who didn't watch the Let's Build series and are just now joining us, here's a shot of the box. This is the front, and we've just got some information on the sides. But if you really want to see that in detail, you can go watch part 1 of the Let's Build series. And you'll get a manual and a sheet of clear stickers with some nice foil stickers in here as well. I only used a few of them. You will obviously get the real grade Gundam, and you get several weapons and accessories. Oops. So, I think in this part I'm going to go over articulation. Part 2, I'll go over the inner frame, and Part 3, I will go over the weapons and accessories. So, for colors, you're going to get pretty much the same colors that you see here. This kit is painted, but I stuck with the original color scheme. You're going to get 3 different shades of gray. That is, if you include white as a shade of gray. You're going to get white. Let's see, here's some white on top of the shoulder. You're going to get a light gray, like here on the front of the leg, and then you're going to get a slightly darker gray, as you can see back here. You're also going to get black, like on the backpack here, and for the hands, and most of the inner frame is black. You'll actually get some brown parts for the inner frame, and you'll get 2 different shades of blue, a normal, kind of a bright Gundam blue, and then a sky blue, which you can see here. You'll get 1 shade of yellow. You'll get 2 different shades of red. Actually, this may be best shown on the shield. You get a kind of a dark red, and then you get a slightly brighter can't believe I just said that. Slightly brighter red right there. Although the plastic that it comes molded in is kind of a dusty brick red color. Again, if you want to see that, you can go back and watch the unboxing. And you get 2 clear parts, one for the eyes, one for the cockpit hatch of the core fighter, and you get 2 clear pink beam sabers. And I think that about does it for colors. So now let's move on to articulation. The head is double jointed. You got a ball joint at the bottom of the head, letting it go side to side, forward and back. Can rotate 360. And then at the bottom of the neck, you've got a joint that just goes forward and back, which lets the head go back and forth like that. The torso has actually got a core block in it, which has a double ball joint in there, so you can get some forward bending movement as well as some backward bending movement, and some side to side as well. Also, there's a ball joint at the waist, which will let you rotate. I don't know. I don't think that's going to go 360, unfortunately. You can't really pull it out very much, but I think that's about as far as it's going to go to each side. And if you try to make it go any further, these skirt armors would get knocked off. Anyway, for the arms, there's a joint inside the torso, which lets the arms go up about that far. And then the shoulder joint will let the arm go up all the way up here. And then, of course, the arms can rotate 360. The shoulder armor is separate from the rest of the arm. There's rotation below the shoulder. Also, I forgot to mention the shoulder is actually on a ball joint, so it can also go forward and back some. You get a double jointed elbow, which can bend pretty much a full 180. And we actually get some armor sliding on the arm as well. Pay attention to the upper arm while I bend it. As you can see, it doesn't slide very much, but it does, this back panel right here does slide a little bit. It's not nearly as dramatic as it is on the knee, but we do still get some armor sliding over there. Let's see, there's a joint inside the forearm right here, about where that red stripe is, that lets the wrist joint kind of move up and down a bit. And then the wrists are on a ball joint, so they can rotate and wiggle. There's a joint inside the hand. Actually pull the fingers out. There's a joint inside the hands that lets the hand bend down and up. And then one of the claims to fame on the real grade is that the thumb is on a ball joint. The thumb also has a hinge in it, which lets it bend. The index finger is on a ball joint, and it also has a hinge, which lets it bend. And the other three fingers are on a single ball joint, and they also have a hinge, which lets them bend together. So pretty much you're getting Master Grade 2.0 quality hands on a 1:144 scale model kit. Although, to its credit, I've never seen a thumb joint like in the middle of the thumb on a Master Grade yet. So that's one advantage that the real grade has over a Master Grade. I forgot to mention the cockpit hatch does open, although it doesn't open very far. It only opens about that much. You can see the front of the core block inside. Alright, let's do the backpack before we go on to the skirt armor. Beam sabers are in a very small ball joint, so they can wiggle around. The thrusters are on very small ball joints, so they can go up and down. A lot of people seem to have trouble with them falling off, and I had the same trouble before I painted it, but I've found that after I painted the kit, they stay on pretty well. And these tiny little flaps that are above the thrusters right here can also go up and down as well. Each one of the parts of the side skirts are on a ball joint. So the front skirts are on a ball joint, and they can go up and wiggle around. Side skirts are on a ball joint, but they only go up about that far. And of course they can rotate a little bit. Back skirts, of course, are also on a ball joint, so they can have pretty much the same amount of movement. And also there's a funny joint inside the waist unit, which lets it rock back and forth like this. And I know that kind of looks perverted, but that's the way the model kit's made. So I'm sure lots of people have plenty of good times making jokes about that joint. Anyway, the hips are on a, actually it's a peg and a ball joint combo. There's a peg that goes into the waist, which obviously allows it to go forward and back, but there's also a ball joint in there which will let it go out to the side, just about a full 90 degrees out, and it lets them rotate slightly, not 360, but it can rotate pretty far to each side. I mean, it goes all the way sideways. Let's see. And we move on to the knees. The knees are double jointed, and we have some very nice sliding armor panels when you bend the knee. As you can see, at the first bend, the thigh armor moves down, and at the second bend, the knee armor slides up right here. So that's pretty nice for a 1:144 scale kit. Also, I haven't really found much use for it yet, but I guess when you bend the feet back, this little flap of armor back here can open up. I don't really find that it increases the posability that much, but Bandai felt the need to include it for some reason. Their ankles are actually on a double ball joint, so they can go forward, and you saw they could go back, and they can go side to side, and actually rotate 360 if you're very, very careful. The ankle armor is separate. It can go up and down. And the foot actually has 3 joints in it. The heel joint, well, not heel joint, the heel is separate. It can wiggle around a little bit. It doesn't move much, but there is some movement there. The whole front of the foot can move up and down, and then the end of the toe can raise up slightly as well. So, let's see, am I forgetting anything? Let me think hard because I don't want to skip anything on this kit. I think I've pretty much covered everything as far as articulation goes. So yeah, in part 2 I'm going to come back and we will go over the inner frame of this kit, because well, obviously that's one of the most important parts of this kit, being a 1:144 scale model. So with that, I will see you guys next time.